Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to another featured Spotlight member. Today we're here with Kevin from BRG. Kevin, I wasn't going to attempt your last name, so I'll let you do your own introduction. Really quickly, I want to mention two upcoming events as soon as we get started. On October 15th, Tuesday at Kenwood Country Club are our elections, so be sure to attend that. You don't want to miss those. And then the next morning from 9 to 11, there is a free forum, an expert panel that's going to be discussing insurance, and that's also at Kenwood Country Club. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the Apartment Association. Check all of our social media. You can always find all of your information there. So thanks for joining us this morning. Without further ado, Kevin, welcome.
Thank you.
Like I said, if you want to do your entire introduction, tell us your title. We know you're with BRG and that last name that I'm too scared to pronounce.
My name is Kevin Gruenmeier, and I am the field supervisor of the HVAC department. So I take care of the boilers, the air conditioning, and also the hot water tanks.
Okay, for all of the BRG properties?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, that's a big job.
It is.
Okay.
It is. But I have a helper, so it's great.
Okay. So if two go out at the same time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can be in two different places. And how long have you been in the industry?
Around 40 years.
Wow, so not too long, pretty new.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. How did you get into it?
Well, my grandfather ran Camp Stepping Stone for the handicap, and I kind of started as a little kid there, working with him, putting the trains together and wheeling people around and doing things. So I kind of got into it there. My father was a maintenance man for McGregor Brunswick. It used to make, it was over by GE, used to make baseball bats and gloves and stuff like that. So he was a maintenance guy, and I just kind of fell into it because I lived next to the Cincinnati Gardens, and I worked at the Gardens as a young kid in high school, and got to set up for all the concerts and stuff like that. So
cool. I hope we get to some of those stories in this interview. That's interesting. So do you have a favorite memorable story from being in the industry for 40 years?
Yes, I think my favorite one would be, I had a lady, older lady that had an old stove, and I wanted to give her a new one, and she would not leave the old stove go. She was crying and said, I don't want to let this go. And I said, okay. So I had another lady that had an older stove, but she wanted a newer stove. So I kind of gave her the newer stove, and I took the old stove, took the parts out of it, fixed hers, gave it back to her. She cried, kissed me on the cheek, and said, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm thinking, you're getting your old stove and not a new one, so it was kind of different.
I wonder if there was a sentimental attachment or something we don't know about that.
I think it's just because she thought that she just knew that stove and could cook on that stove.
I really actually love that story because it really speaks so much about being in this industry and the little things we do every day to kind of keep our residents happy, our clients, our partners happy. And it's just those little things that really mean a lot, and we're in people's homes every day.
Every day.
It's where they live, and it's the most important thing to them. So that's a great story. Do you have any advice for someone new coming into the industry?
I would say learn as much as you can. This is a whole different maintenance as it used to be. In 40 years, I've seen it change so much. Like now you're going into appliances now that are digital. They got the see-through that you can see inside the refrigerator. You can turn it on and off with your, your phone, cell phone. You can turn it up and down. So it changes so much, and things get a little bit more difficult to learn, and your heating and air, there's coming out with different things that you have to learn.
Right.
So it's just, it's a constantly learning. I'm constantly reading and learning about the new things that's coming down the highway to the maintenance side. So it's a really good job if somebody wants to get into it. And if you like working with residents and seeing people be happy, it's a great job to get into.
Good. I can't not shamelessly plug the association now and all of the great educational opportunities we have because we kind of recognize it's ever changing. It's not going to stop. And I think sometimes we forget about the maintenance side and how quickly things are changing on that side. Just like you were saying, digitally, and the way we communicate with our residents even, it's just, it's kind of exciting to be in a job where you get to constantly learn and things are new and different every day. So
yes,
great. Do Do you want to tell us about the last book that you read?
Well, I haven't really read a book in a while because most of the time I'm reading up on changes to learn about the new things coming down. Like they're trying to go with refrigerators that are run by propane.
Oh.
Back in the old days, it used to be ran by ammonia. Now it's ran by refrigerant. So now they're just changing things around. The government's always changing to higher expectations of, the green world, making everything green and easier. And so that's what they're doing. And it just kind of makes your job a little bit more difficult because you got to figure out what is coming down and what you've got to do to make it work.
Wow.
So, and then train people also to learn the same thing. Like, that's what the great thing about the apartment association is that they have classes.
Right.
And you need those because things are always changing. It'll never be the same. So you got to have guys to be able to change with the changes.
Right, right.
If that makes sense.
Totally. Oh, yeah. I don't think it would make sense to someone until you're in it and then you realize
Sure.
it's true. It's
It
really
is.
true. As
It
soon
really
as you get
is.
used to something, it's time to change it up. So, what about a favorite pastime or hobby?
I played hockey and coached hockey for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
I like to camp. I have a camper, so I like to go out and camp and just spend time relaxing and, just taking it easy, I guess you
Sure.
could say. So,
Do you have a favorite camping spot?
yes, I have my camper at Pine Cove Campground. It's a place where I keep it at, and it stays there all winter long. So I just cover it up, go out in the spring and uncover it and put it back together, hook everything up, and then I'm ready to go. I love it because
Nice.
it's just a place to go and just relax.
Nice. And what about a favorite food, or do you have any favorite local restaurants that you like to
Oh
check out?
boy, look at me. I mean, that just tells you I like to eat.
We all do.
Yes, I like Red Lobster. I like right now they got all the shrimp you can eat, and I love shrimp.
Okay.
I love Olive Garden. I'm kind of a heart attack on a plate, if you should say, because I like to eat everything.
Hey,
It's
you have to
probably
enjoy
bad
good
for you.
food. It's okay. Shrimp's not that bad for you.
No.
That's not the worst choice you could make. And do you have any pets?
Yes, I have a dog named Petey. I have a dog named Buddy. And I have 3 cats, Winky, Blinky, and Nod.
Oh, how funny. Do they all get along with each other?
Yes, and they've actually been, all of them's been rescued.
Good.
I found Buddy in the middle of in the middle of an intersection running around, and people were beeping their cars at him and stuff, and I opened up my door and he jumped right in. Petey I got from the apartment complex where he was left in there, and I happened to be in there doing making up my report for charges and so forth. And I didn't even know he was in there. Next thing I knew, I turn around, this dog's growling at me.
Oh my gosh.
And so I opened up the refrigerator. I was in the kitchen, and I found an old pack of hot dogs, and I just started throwing hot dogs to him because I knew I wasn't going to make it out the front door before he'd get me. So, but and he's became my pet, and I've had him ever since. And he's a great dog. I love him. And the 3 cats were all babies that were left out in the rain, and I took them home and fed them every 4 hours with an eyedropper.
Oh wow.
Because they were, they would
Babies.
fit in your
Yeah.
hand, and I fed them every 4 hours. And at lunchtime when I was at work, I would take them with me and I would feed them with the eyedropper. And now they're all bigger, and I just love animals. I'm an animal lover, so
That's great. That's
what I
great.
do.
What great stories.
Yes,
Do the dogs go camping with you?
yes, they do.
All right.
The cats stay at home. The dogs go with me.
Yeah, I don't know much about cats, but I'm pretty sure they're not campers.
No, they're pretty much independent. They
Yeah.
like to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's, it's different.
Great. And do you enjoy watching TV? Do you have a favorite show that you can't miss?
I guess one of my favorites is Andy Griffith. And that's just because I grew up with that when I was a kid.
As soon
And
as
I
you
could-
said that, I thought, I grew up with that on in my house.
Yeah, so I could probably just about tell you every episode when it comes on what's going to happen, but I still watch it because it was wholesome. It was
Right.
back, in the day, so I like that show
Yeah,
a lot.
it's a different time.
Yes, ma'am.
And how about any sports teams? Who's your favorite?
I would say the Cincinnati Reds
Yeah.
and the Cyclones
Okay.
because I'm a hockey fan, and so Columbus Blue Jackets.
Okay.
So yeah.
So did the Cyclones play at the gardens ever? Is that right?
They did play at
Okay.
the gardens at first.
Okay. So did you catch plenty of cyclone swings?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I used to work with the Cincinnati Swords when they were at the gardens too.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew a lot of the old players, and I knew a lot of the players that came from Miami to the Cyclones.
Right.
Because I also coached Talawanda High School
Oh, okay.
up in Oxford.
Yeah.
So I knew a lot of the Miami players and so forth.
Very cool. Very cool. So, I mean, you have to have a concert story then if you work at the gardens?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of them.
Okay. Is there one that stands out?
Probably my favorite one was probably Journey.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
I like Journey.
Okay.
So that was kind of neat. Rod Stewart. There was some older, so that was back there. Alice Cooper. This was like, see, I'm showing my age.
That's
I'm
okay.
going way back.
That's okay.
But those were the guys that, and it's kind of neat because I got to go backstage and talk to them and meet them and, made sure that they had everything that they needed and so forth. But yeah, it was kind of neat.
That's secretly a dream job of mine, is to just work somewhere where concerts come through and do something there just to be around it.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet it was. And then this question always kind of throws people off, but if you were an animal, what would you be? Sounds to me like I would be one of your dogs. They seem to have it pretty well.
Yeah, they do. If I go to Outback, I bring a steak back for them
Oh,
and cut
wow.
it up.
Yeah.
So I would. But I would probably like to be a dog, but I wouldn't want to be an abused dog.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I love animals so much. I
course.
feel for them so much, and
Yeah.
that's where all my animals come from. The apartments that I worked around. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're so grateful to be rescued too.
They really
you can
are.
really tell.
They
So,
really are, and
that's great.
I love having them. I
Okay.
mean, it's like family.
It really is. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. I could go on and on. Well, thank you so much. That was pretty quick and painless this morning. Thank you all again for joining us. Like I mentioned before, we have a bunch of events coming up. Be sure to check out our social media. Also, we'll have a written post with pictures about Kevin later on today. I hope you all enjoy your weekend, enjoy this awesome weather, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.